July 2026 Astrology Forecast. Breakthroughs, a powerful full moon, a life-changing new moon, one of the luckiest days of the year. Hello beautiful souls. Welcome back to Message from the Sky. July 2026 is not just another month. It feels like standing at the edge of a new chapter while still holding the final pages of the old one. Have you ever felt that life was trying to move you forward, but something inside you kept looking back? That is the energy of July. This month begins slowly, reflectively, almost as if the universe is asking us to pause before accelerating. Mercury is still retrograde in Cancer, and because Cancer rules memories, family, emotions, home, and the past, many people may find themselves revisiting old stories, old relationships, old dreams, old wounds, or even old versions of themselves. You may suddenly remember something from childhood, a conversation, a place, a person, a dream you once had and completely forgot about. But these memories are not returning to pull you backward. They're returning because they contain a message, a lesson, a piece of yourself that needs to be understood before you can move forward. Then, on July 23rd, Mercury finally turns direct, and for many people, it will feel as though a fog begins to lift. Conversations become clearer, plans begin moving again, answers start arriving, and decisions that felt impossible suddenly become easier. But Mercury is only one piece of a much larger story, because July is packed with powerful planetary events. Let's talk about Venus. On July 9th, Venus enters Virgo, and love begins to speak a different language. Instead of grand gestures and dramatic declarations, love becomes practical. Love becomes showing up, helping someone, taking care of your home, checking in on a friend, making someone's life a little easier. Sometimes the deepest form of love is not what we say, it's what we do. But around July 13th, Venus forms a challenging angle with Uranus, and this could bring surprises in relationships, unexpected conversations, or moments that remind us that people are not always as predictable as we'd like them to be. If something unexpected happens around this time, don't rush to conclusions. Sometimes life is redirecting us towards something better than we originally planned. Now let's talk about one of the most intense moments of the month. July 4th, Mars meets Uranus. This is electric energy, the kind of energy that can create sudden breakthroughs or sudden chaos. Imagine a lightning bolt. That's Mars and Uranus. Powerful, unpredictable. This energy can bring opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere, but it can also make people impatient, reactive, and impulsive. So move carefully, stay alert, and remember, not every battle needs to be fought. On July 7th, Neptune turns retrograde. Neptune is the planet of dreams, imagination, spirituality, and sometimes illusion. When Neptune begins moving backward, reality often becomes clearer. Some dreams become stronger. Some illusions begin to fall apart. And some people finally see a situation exactly as it is. This isn't meant to disappoint you. It's meant to liberate you, because truth always creates freedom. Then we arrive at the heart of July. Jupiter entered Leo at the very end of June. And throughout July, Jupiter becomes one of the most important planets in the sky. Jupiter represents growth, expansion, opportunity, abundance, faith, and possibility. But July asks an important question. What are you trying to grow? Because not everything is meant to grow forever. Between July 8th and July 14th, Jupiter opposes Pluto, and this creates a powerful tension between expansion and transformation. Many people may feel pressure in finances, relationships, careers, or personal goals. Something may need to transform before it can grow. Something may need to be released before something better can arrive. Fortunately, July doesn't leave us there. Jupiter also forms a beautiful connection with Neptune, and suddenly inspiration returns, hope returns, creativity flows. Many people may experience meaningful dreams, powerful synchronicities, and moments that feel divinely guided. Then, around July 18th, another extraordinary alignment takes place. Uranus forms a harmonious angle with Pluto. This is bigger than personal astrology. This is collective astrology. Technology, innovation, artificial intelligence. Humanity itself is changing, and many of us can feel it. The future is arriving faster than we realize. The question is, how do we evolve without losing what makes us human? Then, on July 14th, we experience a beautiful new moon in Cancer. This new moon invites us to plant seeds connected to home, family, emotional healing, belonging, and security. Ask yourself, what would make me feel truly safe? Not temporarily comfortable, but genuinely safe, because your answer may guide your next chapter. And finally, we arrive at July 29th, one of the brightest days of the entire year. The sun aligns with Jupiter. The full moon shines in Aquarius, and suddenly possibility fills the sky. This is a day of hope, opportunity, vision, and expansion. A day when many people may realize that the dream they've been carrying inside their heart is closer than they thought. So beautiful souls, July is not just another month, it's a bridge between the past and the future, between fear and possibility, between who you've been and who you're becoming. And now, let's start with Aries. Dear Aries, July feels different for you. This isn't a month of rushing. This isn't a month of proving yourself. And this certainly isn't a month of carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Instead, July is asking you a simple question. What do you actually want? Not what other people expect from you. Not what you think you should do. What do you want? The reason this theme is so strong is because so much of the month's energy is activating your home, family, emotional foundations, and private life. Mercury is retrograde for most of the month in Cancer, the area of your chart connected to home, family, memories, and your roots. So don't be surprised if old memories begin resurfacing. You may find yourself thinking about childhood, past family situations, old dreams, or even previous versions of yourself. And here's the interesting thing. Those memories are not returning to hold you back. They're returning because they still have something to teach you. Now let's talk about one of the most intense moments of the month. Around July 4th, your ruling planet Mars forms an exact conjunction with Uranus. This is powerful energy, exciting, unpredictable, and a little explosive. You may suddenly feel the urge to change something, leave something, start something, or break free from a situation that feels limiting. If an opportunity appears unexpectedly, pay attention, but don't confuse excitement with certainty. Move forward carefully, not fearfully, just carefully. Then we arrive at the new moon on July 14th. And for you, Aries, this new moon shines a light on your home and living environment. Many Aries may feel inspired to redecorate, renovate, move, or create a stronger sense of comfort and security. Think of this new moon as planting seeds for the future foundation of your life. The stronger the foundation, the higher you can build. Now let's talk about love. After July 22nd, romantic energy begins flowing much more easily. If you're single, opportunities to meet someone new may appear. If you're already in a relationship, warmth and connection become easier to create. And financially, this may be one of your strongest months in quite some time. For some Aries, a financial blockage finally begins to clear. For others, support may arrive through family, property, investments, or even inheritance matters. The message of July is simple. Stop asking yourself what you have to do. Start asking yourself what kind of life you actually want to create. Because beautiful souls, every future begins as a decision, and July is helping you make one. Now let's move on to Taurus. Taurus. Now let's move on to Taurus. Dear Taurus, July feels like a deep exhale. After months of pushing, planning, and carrying responsibilities, the universe is inviting you to slow down and enjoy life a little more. This month isn't about doing more. It's about enjoying what you've already built. Many Taurus people will find themselves craving comfort, beauty, good food, meaningful conversations, and time with people they truly trust. And honestly, you deserve it. One of the strongest themes for you this month is connection. Not networking, not impressing people. Real connection, the kind that makes you feel safe enough to be yourself. Now, let's talk about a date that deserves your attention. July 13th, Venus, your ruling planet, forms a challenging angle with Uranus. This could create surprises in relationships, a misunderstanding, a change of plans, or someone behaving in a way you didn't expect. If this happens, don't immediately assume the worst. Sometimes people are going through battles you know nothing about. Give situations time to reveal their full story. The next day, July 14th, brings a beautiful new moon. And for you, Taurus, this new moon lights up communication, learning, short trips, and your local environment. Many Taurus people may suddenly feel the urge to take a short trip. Go camping, visit somewhere new, take a class, start a project, or simply change the routine. Sometimes we don't need a completely new life. Sometimes we just need a new view. Then we arrive at the full moon on July 29th, and this one could be very important for your career. A professional opportunity, recognition, a promotion, or a moment when people finally notice what you've been working toward. If you've been wondering whether your efforts matter, this full moon may bring your answer. The message for you this month is simple. Rest is productive too. Not every season is about climbing. Some seasons are about enjoying the view. Now let's move on to Gemini. Gemini, dear Gemini, July feels very different from June. June was busy, fast, social, full of conversations, plans, and movement. July asks you to slow down, not because you're falling behind, but because something more important needs your attention. Your relationships, the people who truly matter. This month asks, who is nourishing your life, and who is simply taking up space? Mercury, your ruling planet, is retrograde for most of the month, and because Mercury influences communication, plans, and thinking, you may experience delays, changes, or moments where things simply don't move as quickly as you'd like. Try not to force anything. The universe is asking you to review before you proceed. Financially, this requires some awareness. During the first half of July, money may seem to disappear more quickly than expected. Unexpected expenses, forgotten bills, little costs that add up, nothing dramatic, but enough to remind you to stay mindful. Then comes the new moon on July 14th, and this could be very interesting, because for many Geminis, it highlights income, resources, and personal value. A new source of income could appear. A side project, a business idea, a financial opportunity, or a realization that you're worth more than you've been accepting. The second half of the month feels much lighter. Mercury finally turns direct on July 23rd. And then on July 24th, Mercury forms a beautiful connection with Venus. This is one of the best days of the month for heartfelt conversations. If there is something you've been wanting to say, say it. If there is someone you've been wanting to reconnect with, reach out. If there is a misunderstanding that needs healing, this energy supports it. The message for you this month is simple. Relationships are an investment, and some of the greatest returns in life cannot be measured in money. Now let's move on to Cancer. Cancer, dear Cancer, Welcome to your season. This is your month. And the energy surrounding you feels warm, supportive, and deeply personal. July is asking you to come home to yourself, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Many Cancers spend so much time taking care of other people that they forget to nurture themselves. But this month is different. This month asks, what do you need? What would make you feel supported? What would help you feel safe, loved, and truly seen? The new moon on July 14th happens in your own sign, and that makes it one of the most important new moons of your year. Think of it as your personal reset button, your personal new beginning. Many Cancers may feel inspired to change their appearance, refresh their style, start a new chapter, or simply show the world a more confident version of themselves. This is beautiful energy for a but the real transformation isn't external, it's internal. The biggest change is how you see yourself. Then after July 22nd, another blessing begins to unfold. Your ability to attract opportunities, support, and resources becomes stronger. People notice you. Doors open. The energy around money becomes more cooperative. However, around the full moon on July 29th, pay attention to shared finances and resources. Double-check details, avoid assumptions, and stay aware of where your energy and money are flowing. The message for you this month is simple. You don't need permission to become the person you're meant to be. This is your season. Own it. And now, let's move on to Leo. Leo. Dear Leo, July begins very differently than you might expect. Normally, you're a sign that loves momentum. You like movement. You like progress. You like feeling that life is moving somewhere exciting. But this month begins with a quieter energy. And there is a reason for that. For most of July, Mercury is still retrograde in Cancer, moving through your 12th house. The 12th house is the most hidden area of the chart. It rules healing, rest, dreams, the subconscious mind, spirituality, and everything happening behind the scenes. So if you've felt more emotional lately, if you've needed more time alone, if you've been reflecting on the past, or if strange dreams and memories have been resurfacing, you're not imagining it. Your soul is trying to clear space before your next chapter begins. Think of it like a garden. Before something beautiful can grow, the old weeds need to be removed. That's exactly what July is doing for you. The new moon on July 14th also falls in this deeply private part of your chart. This isn't the kind of new moon that asks you to launch something. It's the kind of new moon that asks you to recharge, to rest, to listen, to reconnect with yourself. Take the day off, book the massage, spend time near water, meditate, journal, pay attention to your intuition, because your inner voice may have something important to tell you. Then everything changes. On July 22nd, the sun enters Leo. Your season begins. And suddenly, it's as if the lights turn back on. Your confidence returns. Your energy increases. People begin noticing you again. You feel more like yourself. And then we arrive at July 29th. Leo, this could be one of your luckiest days of the entire year. The sun aligns with Jupiter, and Jupiter is currently moving through your sign. Whenever Jupiter moves through the first house, it expands everything it touches. Your confidence, your visibility, your opportunities, your personal growth. This is one of those rare moments when life seems to open doors more easily. If you've been waiting to start something important, this is your moment. The full moon on the same day shines a light on your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. You may gain clarity about a relationship, a commitment, a business partnership, or someone important in your life. A truth becomes visible, and once you see it, you'll know exactly what to do. The message for you this month is simple. Don't mistake the quiet beginning of July for a lack of progress. The seed grows underground long before anyone sees the flower, and your flower is almost ready to bloom. Now let's move on to Virgo. Virgo, dear Virgo, July may feel like you're standing between two chapters of your life, not fully in the old chapter, not fully in the new one. And I know that can feel uncomfortable, especially for Virgo, because you're a sign that likes clarity. You like knowing where you're going. You like having a plan. But this month isn't asking you to have all the answers. It's asking you to prepare. And there's a reason for that. Mercury, your ruling planet, spends most of July retrograde in Cancer, moving through your 11th house of friendships, networking, long-term dreams, communities, and future goals. This means many of you may be reviewing your future, reconsidering your goals, reevaluating certain friendships, or asking yourself an important question. Is this dream still the dream I truly want? You may notice delays around projects, group activities, social plans, or professional networking. But don't assume something is going wrong. Sometimes the universe slows things down because something important is still being arranged behind the scenes. Think about it this way. If someone handed you the keys to your dream today, would everything else in your life be ready for it? July is helping you get ready. Career-wise, this is actually a stronger month than it first appears. Even if visible results seem slow, important conversations are happening. People are noticing your work. Connections are forming. Opportunities are developing. Just because something isn't visible yet doesn't mean it isn't growing. Financially, Jupiter is quietly supporting future gains. You may not see dramatic financial growth immediately, but seeds are being planted now that could become much more valuable later. Pay attention to opportunities that arrive through friends, groups, communities, or professional contacts. Then we come to July 24th, one of the sweetest days of the month. Mercury forms a beautiful sextile to Venus. And because Venus is moving through your sign, Virgo, your natural charm becomes much stronger. This is wonderful energy for dating, romance, heartfelt conversations, or reconnecting with someone important. If there's something you've wanted to say from the heart, this is the moment. Then we arrive at July 29th. The full moon illuminates your 6th house, the area connected to health, routines, daily habits, and self-care. This full moon asks, what is no longer supporting the life you're trying to build? A habit, a routine, a mindset, an unhealthy pattern. Something needs to be released. Not because you're failing, but because you're growing. The message for you this month is simple. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You only need to take the next step and trust that the path will reveal itself as you move forward. Now let's move on to Libra. Libra, dear Libra, if there is one thing your soul is searching for this month, it's balance. Not the kind of balance that looks perfect from the outside, the kind that feels peaceful on the inside. Because let's be honest, the past few months may have felt busy, demanding, full of responsibilities, expectations, and things that needed your attention. July is different. July reminds you that life is not only about what you achieve, it's also about what you enjoy. And there's a reason this theme is showing up so strongly. Mercury retrograde is moving through your 10th house for most of the month, the area connected to career, reputation, life direction, public image, and long-term success. This means many Libras may find themselves reflecting on important questions. Am I moving in the right direction? Do I still want what I thought I wanted? What does success actually mean to me? You may also notice delays or revisions around work matters. A project may need adjustments. A career decision may take longer than expected. An opportunity may seem to pause before moving forward. Don't panic. Mercury retrograde is not stopping your progress. It's helping you refine it. Then we arrive at the new moon on July 14th. And Libra, this could be one of the most important career moments of your summer, because this new moon also activates your 10th house, the house of achievement and professional visibility. This is the area of your chart where promotions happen, new jobs appear, businesses grow, and people begin recognizing your talents. If an opportunity presents itself around this time, don't immediately talk yourself out of it. You may be far more ready than you think. Then we move into the second half of the month, and relationships begin taking center stage. After all, Venus is your ruling planet, and whenever Venus becomes active, so do matters of the heart. Then we reach July 29th. The full moon lights up your fifth house of romance, joy, creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. This is beautiful energy. For some Libras, this could bring romance. For others, it could reignite passion in an existing relationship. And for some, it may simply remind you how important joy really is. Plan the date, take the trip, watch the sunset, create memories. Because life is not only about building a future, it's also about enjoying the present. The message for you this month is simple. Don't measure your success only by what you accomplish. Measure it by how deeply you allow yourself to live. Now let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio? Dear Scorpio, July feels deep, but then again, you wouldn't want it any other way. While some signs are chasing excitement, you're searching for something more meaningful, something real, something lasting. And this month gives you an opportunity to find exactly that. The reason July feels so intense is because several important planetary movements are activating. Areas of your chart connected to transformation, trust, emotional healing, and your long-term vision for the future. Many Scorpios may find themselves craving something unusual this month. Not more noise, not more drama, but peace, a safe harbor. A place where you can finally put down the emotional armor you've been carrying. You may feel a stronger desire for privacy, for reflection, for spending time with people who truly understand you. And honestly, that's exactly what your soul needs right now. Now, let's talk about July 5th, because this could be one of the most powerful days of the month for you. Mars and Pluto form a supportive connection. And since Pluto is your modern ruler and Mars is your traditional ruler, this energy speaks directly to Scorpio. It's like having both of your cosmic coaches standing behind you saying, you can do this. If there is a challenge you've been avoiding, face it. If there is a difficult conversation you've been postponing, have it. If there is something in your life that needs courage, this is your moment, because this energy gives you determination, resilience, focus, and incredible emotional strength. Then we arrive at the deeper lesson of July. Healing. The new moon on July 14th activates your ninth house of growth, wisdom, perspective, and higher understanding. And sometimes healing doesn't come from fixing the past. Sometimes it comes from seeing the past differently. You may suddenly understand why something happened. Why a relationship ended, why a door closed, why life took you down a certain path. And when understanding arrives, healing often follows. This month may also help you finally release old family wounds, trust issues, emotional baggage, or stories you've been carrying for years. Not because the past didn't matter, but because you deserve a future that isn't controlled by it. Then we arrive at the powerful full moon on July 29th. This full moon illuminates your fourth house of home, family, roots, and emotional foundations. Something important may become clear regarding your family, living situation, or emotional security. A truth emerges, a decision becomes obvious, or you finally realize what truly makes you feel safe. The message for you this month is simple. Your power doesn't come from controlling everything. Your power comes from trusting yourself enough to let go of what no longer belongs in your life. Because sometimes the greatest transformation begins the moment you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Now let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Dear Sagittarius, if there is one thing your soul is craving this month, it's freedom. Not just physical freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom, the freedom to explore new possibilities and remember that life is meant to be experienced, not just managed. And there's a reason this feeling is so strong. July activates a part of your chart connected to transformation, shared resources, trust, and deeper emotional growth. This is one of those months when life asks you to let go of what you've outgrown so something better can enter. The beginning of the month may bring a few unexpected expenses, nothing overwhelming, but enough to remind you to stay mindful with money. You may feel like you're giving more than you're receiving, but don't worry. The energy begins shifting around the new moon on July 14th. This new moon falls in your 8th house of shared finances, investments, support from others, and transformation. For some Sagittarius people, this could bring financial relief, an unexpected payment, a bonus, a tax refund, a solution to a financial problem, or simply support arriving at exactly the right time. This new moon reminds you that you don't always have to carry everything alone. Sometimes help arrives when you allow yourself to receive it. Then we arrive at July 29th. And Sagittarius, this is one of the most exciting days of the month for you. The full moon lights up your 3rd house of communication, learning, networking, and local connections. A conversation could become an opportunity. A casual meeting could become an important relationship. An invitation could lead somewhere unexpected. So if someone invites you out, go. Talk to people. Be curious. Because something that seems small could have much bigger consequences than you realize. The message for you this month is simple. Your next opportunity may not arrive through a plan. It may arrive through a conversation. Now let's move on to Capricorn. Capricorn, dear Capricorn, July asks you to slow down. And I know that's not always easy for you. You're a builder, a planner, a problem solver. You like progress. You like knowing exactly where you're going. But this month isn't about pushing forward. It's about making sure you're moving in the right direction. And there's a reason for that. The new moon on July 14th activates your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, commitments, and important one-to-one connections. This is one of the most relationship-focused areas of your chart. For some Capricorns, a new romantic possibility could appear. For others, an existing relationship may enter a new chapter. And for some, this may be about important business partnerships rather than romance. Either way, relationships become a major theme. The universe is asking, who are you building your future with? At the same time, many Capricorns may feel a stronger desire to stay close to home, to reconnect with family, to create emotional security, or simply to stop carrying responsibilities that were never truly theirs. Then Saturn, your ruling planet, turns retrograde on July 26th. And this is where things become interesting. Saturn asks, what have you been postponing? That renovation project, that repair, that responsibility you've been avoiding? The area of your chart connected to home and foundations is being activated. This is your opportunity to strengthen what supports you. The message for you this month is simple. The future becomes stronger when the foundation beneath it is solid. Now let's move on to Aquarius. Aquarius, dear Aquarius, July feels alive. There is movement in the air, possibility in the air, and perhaps most importantly, hope in the air. But before the excitement begins, the universe asks you to take care of yourself first, because this month is strongly activating your 6th house of health, routines, work, and daily habits. The new moon on July 14th falls here, and it asks a simple question. Are your daily habits supporting the future you're trying to create? This is a beautiful time to improve your health. Apply for a new job, start a new routine, organize your life, or finally commit to something you've been postponing. Then we arrive at July 18th, one of the most important dates of the entire month. Uranus and Pluto form a powerful alignment. And because both planets have a strong connection to Aquarius energy, this can feel like a lightning strike of inspiration. Ideas may arrive suddenly. Solutions may appear unexpectedly. Creative breakthroughs become possible. If inspiration arrives, don't ignore it. Write it down. Act on it. Some of those ideas may become surprisingly valuable later. Then comes the full moon on July 29th, and Aquarius. This full moon happens in your own sign, your first house of identity, appearance, confidence, and personal direction. This is your moment. You may feel ready to change something. Your style, your appearance, your priorities, or even the way you present yourself to the world. The universe is giving you permission to evolve. The message for you this month is simple. The future belongs to those willing to become a new version of themselves. Pisces? Now let's move on to Pisces. Dear Pisces, July feels softer for you. Gentler, more intuitive, more emotional, and in many ways, more healing. While some signs are being pushed to move faster, your soul is asking for something different. Space, silence, meaning, real connection, and moments that remind you what truly matters. You may find yourself craving water this month. The ocean, a lake, a river, or simply quiet moments where you can hear your own thoughts again. And honestly, that's exactly what your spirit needs. Now let's talk about one of the most important shifts of the month. On July 7th, Neptune, your modern ruler, turns retrograde. And because Neptune is your ruling planet, you may feel this energy more strongly than most people. This isn't meant to scare you. It's actually a gift. Neptune retrograde removes illusions. It helps you see things more clearly. You may suddenly notice where your energy has been leaking away, where you've been giving too much, trusting too easily, spending too freely, or investing your emotions in situations that aren't giving anything back. Think of this as a cosmic reality check, not a punishment, a course correction, because once you see the truth, you can make better choices. Financially, July asks you to stay grounded, review your budget, double-check expenses, and avoid making decisions based purely on hope. Hope is beautiful, but practical action creates results. Then we arrive at July 9th, when Venus enters Virgo. This activates your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and commitment. And suddenly love becomes much more important. For singles, new romantic possibilities may appear. For couples, communication becomes easier and relationships feel more stable. Many Pisces may notice that people are showing up for them in ways they haven't experienced for quite some time. Then comes the beautiful new moon on July 14th. And Pisces, this new moon activates your 5th house, one of the happiest houses in astrology, the house of romance, creativity, joy, children, pleasure, and self-expression. This is one of the most beautiful new moons of the year for you. If you're single, this energy can bring exciting romantic possibilities. If you're already in love, it can help deepen emotional connection. If you're an artist, writer, musician, creator, or dreamer, inspiration may flow more easily than it has in months. And for those hoping to start or grow a family, this can be a particularly fertile and supportive energy. The universe is reminding you of something important. Life is not meant to be survived. It's meant to be enjoyed. Then, after July 22nd, another shift begins. Your leadership abilities become more visible. People may start looking to you for guidance, advice, direction. At work, you may find yourself stepping into a more influential role. Don't shrink back. Don't assume someone else knows better. Trust yourself. You've learned more than you realize. Then we arrive at the full moon on July 29th. This full moon illuminates your 12th house of spirituality, healing, intuition, endings, and inner wisdom. A cycle may finally come to completion. Something you've been carrying emotionally may finally be released. a burden becomes lighter, a fear loses its power, or a truth you've been avoiding finally becomes clear. The message for you this month is simple. Trust yourself. The wisdom you've been searching for may already be inside you. And sometimes the greatest guidance arrives not from the outside world, but from the quiet voice within. And that voice has been speaking to you all along. Final message. Beautiful souls. As we come to the end of this forecast, remember that July 2026 is not just another month on the calendar. It is a turning point, a bridge between the past and the future. A month that begins with reflection and ends with momentum. A month that asks us to slow down before asking us to leap forward. The first half of July may feel slower than you'd like. Mercury retrograde reminds us that not every delay is a setback. Sometimes life slows us down so we can see something we've been missing. Sometimes the pause is part of the path. As the month unfolds, powerful forces begin to move. Old structures may crack. Long-held beliefs may change. Unexpected opportunities may appear. And many of us may realize that the future we are stepping into looks very different from the one we imagined. If a door opens between July 15th and July 21st, don't ignore it. Pay attention. Some opportunities arrive quietly before they change everything. And if July reveals weaknesses in a relationship, a financial situation, or a foundation you've built your life upon, don't be discouraged. The universe is not showing you these cracks to punish you. It's showing them to you so you can build something stronger. Above all, choose authenticity. Choose honesty. Choose what is real over what merely looks good. Because July rewards courage, truth, and growth. And then we arrive at July 29th, one of the brightest and most fortunate days of the entire year. A day when possibility feels larger. A day when hope feels stronger. A day when you may finally see how far you've already come. So beautiful souls, don't rush this month. Don't force it. Work with it. Listen to it. Trust the timing. Trust the lessons. Trust yourself. Because July is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to become more fully who you already are. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your shares, and your beautiful presence in this community. I appreciate every one of you more than you know. And if this message found you at exactly the right time, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep your heart open. Keep looking for the signs. And remember, the universe is always speaking. Message from the sky.